I'm Dr. Leach, I'm a GP in Stockport, and today I'm going to talk about 7 ways to keep healthy as you get older. And the first of these topics that I've chosen is falls. Falls are really important. Falls can have a devastating impact. So we know for a hip fracture, for instance, which is one of the more serious consequences of having a fall, the 1 month risk of dying can be 1 in 10, and the 12-month risk of dying is 1 in 3. So obviously this is something that we want to try and prevent. Not only can you die from a fall, the other risk is that it can have a really big impact on your day-to-day activities. It can render you housebound or bedbound and can make everything really difficult. So it's much better to try and stop yourself from having a fall in the first place. I guess the next question to ask is, why do people have falls as they get older? And really it's multifactorial, which in simple terms means there's lots of different reasons why that can be the case. The first is, as you get older, everything works a little bit less well. Your eyesight can deteriorate and therefore you're more likely to trip up. Your balance gets worse. You can lose muscle mass, and as you lose muscle mass, that can make you weaker. Are falls inevitable? And the answer is no. And we know that from the age of 65, 1 in 3 people will have a fall every 12 months. From the age of 80 years old, that increases to 1 in 2. So, how can you prevent having a fall as you get older? And probably the most important thing is to make sure that you're looking after yourself. So the more you can keep physically active, the more you can reduce that rate of muscle loss. There is good evidence that even above the age of 80, you can actually build muscle. So if you're doing physical exercise, a bit of resistance training, you can prevent that loss of muscle and even gain muscle. So doing that helps build your strength and reduce the risk of falls. Getting an annual eye check, getting your vision checked, because if you can see hazards coming, you're more likely to avoid them. Getting your hearing checked, because again, you can hear hazards coming. A very simple thing is to use a walking aid, whether that be a walking stick. If you stumble, it can help catch you on the way down, a rolling Zimmer frame, or whatever it is that you can think of to try and reduce that risk. I guess the other thing you can think about is your environment, because we know that falls are more likely at certain times of the year. For instance, autumn, winter. Autumn, you've got lots of leaves on the pavements, wet weather. Winter, ice on the pavements. And we know those things can increase the risk of falls. So a lot of falls happen where people spend a lot of time, which is often in the house. So looking at trip hazards in the house. Footwear, what kind of things are you wearing on your feet? Have you got loose slippers that are likely to slip off and cause a fall? And really basic things like that. You also have to think about, well, what if you do have a fall? If you have a fall and you're on the floor for 12 hours on your own because you live alone and there's no way of alerting anyone, then that can have a really devastating impact. As you get a lot older and the risk of falls becomes very high, thinking about things like care core, where you can have a pendant around the neck, you press the button and somebody can come and help you get back up. The big things you can do to stop having a fall as you get older are stay active, look after yourself, make sure that you're building up muscle mass, and then also looking at the environment that you spend your time in. And if you can do those things, then you can really reduce the risk of having a fall, and that will make a big difference to your quality of life, because once you've had a fall, it's very difficult to deal with the consequences.